Hello, good afternoon. It is the Everton Daily Live. 17 days to go.
I forgot to bring that thing in, the countdown.
The counter.
Yeah. I'll sort of... We had it last year. It's tiny, but at least we know what
the
it
counter.
says.
17 days. Yeah. Week building up to the Premier League kickoff.
I was going to say, I thought it was only 4 days, but... You know.
Well, you know,
4 days.
The big action is whether you're
1 hour,
plays
58 minutes. Yeah.
The footy doesn't matter at this time, if you believe some
Sky
people.
could change it, so it's not about the matches. It's just about transfers.
Just transfers for now. Now, well, obviously it is. It is the week of the season. We can talk about what Everton still need, but we'll probably do a video for that. But Everton apparently have failed with a bid for Barcelona attacker Vitor Roque, but are continuing to hold talks with the Catalan Giants. That is the story doing the rounds this morning. He is a forward player. Everton are looking for another forward player, but money will dictate, of course, whether they can do any business there. They wanted Wilfred Gnonto. That's not happened. Been linked with Largi Ramazani from Almere, but he's 6 million as opposed to 25 million.
Barcelona tax.
I mean, this is a player.
Teenager tax.
It's a player they've hardly really played.
Yeah.
You know, they bought him from Atletico Paranaense. He'd done well in Brazil. Brought him in 2023. He's hardly played for them.
Teenager, isn't he?
Yeah, 19.
Still.
Apparently the bid was 25 million euros plus
No
three and
Premier League experience, mate.
Yeah, I mean,
anything experience.
Yeah, very, very surprising if Everton got him and Dyche played him without the Premier League experience. But
do you know him?
I know of him. I've not seen a lot of him. I couldn't.
Pacey?
I know when
7 foot tall. What is it?
7 foot tall. He can play anywhere across the front. I knew when they got him because you're obviously taking interest when Barcelona go and get someone out of Brazil.
Yeah.
But like you say, he's not done anything really. He's not done anything for them, and they're looking at. They've got good players there anyway, haven't they? And obviously, Lamine Yamal will clip anyone, won't he? Eclipse anyone who's 17-year-old and just won the Euros, and you have all of that other stuff around him. They wanted Nico Williams as well, Barca, but he's just been given the number 10 to stay where he is, so I don't think they're getting him. But the lad was only 19 in February. Like I say, very, very talented.
I wonder if the Premier League would look at that deal if we did it because we've paid too much. Because they do it the other way, don't they?
They do it the other way.
Yeah.
They do it the other way. Nottingham Forest, why wouldn't he? I've got an interest in him as well. A couple of other clubs.
They're more decisive.
He's made 14 appearances for Barca, scored 2 goals in La Liga. He's a Brazil under. He's been capped once by the Brazilian national team, but capped at under 20 and under 23 level. 36 goals in 113 games. Career goals.
Most in Brazil.
Yeah.
But 2 in Brazil.
Yeah. Talented, but it seems like a lot of money. It seems like, Everton being linked with this kind of outlay.
Well,
at a time when it come out of Spain yesterday. Right. Sky Sport have gone with it today.
Sure.
So
not wishy.
So it's not. I'm not saying it's definitely. It's 100% Everton have bid. Yeah. That's why I'm saying it just seems like a lot of money that Everton don't really have right now. We know that Gnonto's probably the number one target.
Well, we had...
And apparently Leeds have said if you pay 25 million for him, he's yours.
Oh, okay. Well, we had those... Well, we have had those chats in recent weeks, haven't we? When we as Everton fans still perceive that Everton were keen, which suggests the money's there, doesn't it? Remember, we have this thing where you get this conflict between perhaps our director of football or the club itself trying to control the narrative. And the best narrative is we've got no money, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Because that might get you a penny off, or whatever. If you play hard and difficult. We'd love to have him, but we've no money. Particularly if you're Leeds and you feel you do need to get that guy out the door by the end of the window, and only one club's interested, or he's only interested in one club, that even if we got Gnonto for 1 million less than it would have been, you've saved $1 million, haven't you? So you do want to plead poverty, but that couldn't be real, that we were still interested in him unless we had the money. unless it's only if someone goes out.
Yeah.
So again, if we try and read between the lines, and I'm sure Kevin would say we still want to get players in if we can. He probably would say most of our business is done because we wanted them in early because the manager wants them in early, which we've done. We're really shallow on bringing in experienced Premier League players, but all the players have got a ceiling above where they are now, haven't they? He fits that profile. So killer question for you, Baz. If the money's there,
yeah,
and it's this Brazilian guy from Barcelona, and he's going to cost you the same as this Italian guy from Leeds, where'd you go? Which one would you take?
I'd probably go full Sean Dyche here and take Nonto.
That was a long pause, though, wasn't
it? I know, because you're weighing it up with potential. I think Vitor Roque, see, I'd always have one foot in his camp because he's Brazilian. I love Brazilians. I love, want the pigeon back, but I don't know whether that's going to happen. But
go late that one a bit.
So I would, yeah. So I would always probably err on the side of that because I've still got that romanticism that they do the unexpected and the hard workers and the a little bit of extra class. But we've seen Nonto doing okay in England. He's okay in the Premier League. He's got that little bit of explosive pace that Everton lack. Scored a good goal at the weekend. Similar money. You possibly would err on the side because obviously Vitor Roque coming in could be great. Could be Sandro Ramirez, who came in from La Liga with 1 and 2 and 21 years of age, and everyone was like, could be all right, this kid, and it wasn't very good at all, was it? Whereas Nonto, you've sort of got a little bit of a bar there.
So
but there's other players
on a
John.
Risk call, you out of those.
If it was those two, yeah. I mean, I would be asking the question about Jonathan Rowe at Norwich. If he's really available at 12 and 13 million pounds, he's in England under 21 international. He's 20 years of age.
So you go there
right foot, left foot. Down payment a lot less. Why wouldn't you go there? Why wouldn't you go to Spain and get Largi Ramazani from Almeria? 6 million quid. He's played for Manchester United. Gone to Spain. Quick. He's not prolific, don't get me wrong, but he's got a goal in him. If you're looking for a cut price thing, if that's what you're looking for, it's where I scratch my head with Everton. If you are going to pay 25 million, say, why didn't they go and get Max Beer, who looks like he's just about to join Dortmund? Everton have watched him for 18 months. He's lightning. Hoffenheim, not on huge wages. He's gone to Dortmund for €25 million. Why wouldn't we go and do that deal, which is a lot easier to do? So clearly there's some...
What would this guy say rocked up? No pun, yeah, bubble. At the age he is and with the fee he is, what would that do to Chimiti?
Well, it wouldn't do anything to him at the moment because he's sat with his leg in.
Oh, yeah, but he's...
Yeah, but this kid can play wide, though.
Is that the difference? You'd have a leader of the line type that can, but he can go out wide, where the other fella, Chimiti, is probably a leader of the line type.
But again, Vitor Roque is like 5'9", so he's not Chimiti, and Chimiti's 6'4", isn't he? Yeah. So he's not Chimiti's size.
6'5".
So again, playing wide. I'd have to look on transfer market because they give you the...
Are we going truly atypical for the manager here?
But you see, this is where I cast doubt on it, right?
This is Brands type purchasing, isn't it?
It is, and maybe this is Kevin Thelwell type purchasing.
But not to the detriment of the players you need for the manager. So, you know what I mean? If we have 20-odd million to spend, surely the manager wants that spent on...
someone who's going to play.
Someone who's going to play, yeah.
This kid, to me, would be like a lovely loan deal, whereas he might work
with an obligation to buy.
Yeah, or an option, right? He might work out.
No, if you're Barcelona.
But Barcelona would want an obligation because
I was worried about Barcelona letting young players go because they need the money.
But they do, don't they? They can't. Apparently, they can't register another player until they sell one.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Is that PSRE type things?
In La Liga. Well, the way La Liga do, if you don't have them, you can't get into debt.
Sure.
That's what they said, didn't they, about Everton? It never happened in La Liga. What's happened to Everton?
Because you're not allowed to acquire players.
Well, they just don't let you register them. So it's a waste of time.
So they need to take someone out of slot to put someone in.
Basically,
so they've looked at which ones are most attractive to other buyers and are prepared to let go.
See, the only reason why when I turn around and say 25 million, Everton don't have that money, what's going on? The only way I could see round that is almost like a Beto kind of deal.
Yeah, pay for it.
Whereas we'll pay for it next year. But Barca can put in their books. I don't think it'd be a cash thing with Barca. I think it's more, look, we've balanced the books because we've sold Vitor Roque for 27 million euros, say, for I mean, transfer markets have value of 30 million euro.
There you go, okay.
But say Everton had done a deal at 27.5 million euro, but Everton are like, we'll actually pay you lads on the 1st of July. 8 million.
So the P&L side of it versus the cash, yeah. Okay.
I'm not saying this is real, by the way. I'm just saying that's how you might look at it.
But the bits that might be missing from stories like that could very well be one way you get the interest of a seller is to make a bid, right? So just because we've made a bid doesn't necessarily mean we can complete.
Yeah, of course.
But it might put us in pole position if we have an assumption. And I mean, shareholders, we had Kevin Thelwell talking at our AGM last night rather, and same with Richard Kenyon, and clearly they want to strengthen the squad if they can, but they also know they've got a challenge with DCL. You either get him on a contract or you sell him. Maybe, and we would talk about how long do you leave that for? Well, surely it must be a this week type decision, mustn't it? So maybe, just maybe, they know stuff we don't know, where they're making a bid on this guy on an assumption that DCL goes out for a fee that makes this affordable. I don't know.
Or better.
Say, well, okay, somebody's going out, or a group of players who are going out, which when you add the fees together and the reduction in wages, with Michael Keane, Holgate, blah, blah, blah.
Whatever,
right. And that's the plate spinning of being a director of football, I guess. And you can't really measure it, can you, till the window's closed?
No.
So where's this? I don't know him. Where's he on the pace? Which side does he play on that? When you say play,
well, he's played most of his. I'm just looking there. He's played most of his games through the middle, but he can play right or left.
Okay.
So clearly he's smaller than the other lads.
He's a traditional winger size,
but he's really good centre pace. Got a goal in him.
Sounds like me when I was younger.
There you go. It's all good, but like you just said, I think that's the crux of the thing. Is that if you look at a deal like this, and Sean Dyche says, I ain't playing him, mate. Great. We'll have him in the squad, and we'll, like you did with Chimiti last year, we'll have a look at him and develop him. Then if you've got a pot of money, you may as well go and get someone who the manager will. And quite clearly,
return on investment.
Wilfred Nonso is someone I imagine the manager will play. And because Everton have gone for him.
He'd start.
He wouldn't, even if we signed him tomorrow, he wouldn't start against Brighton.
No, I mean,
it'll be McNeil and Harrison.
No, I mean generally. Once he's
I think the manager will be more comfortable with Nonso. Because I think when you...
But he's still going to pick Harrison and Dwight McNeil. You've still wasted the money, haven't you?
But he won't look at it like that, will he? He'll look at it like they start the season, and when I get into Nonso's head about his duties, he will take over. Quite often, we say this quite regularly on here, the team that starts the season ain't the team that finishes the season. Of course.
People
play the way out.
Fitness levels and all sorts of things, yeah.
So right now it's like Saturday, Illiman and Dye came on, and I'll ask you your opinion in a minute. Me and Ped spoke about it yesterday. He lit the game up, I thought, when he come on. He won't start on Saturday.
No, he won't.
It'll be Harrison and McNeil.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lindstrom, nice and tidy when he come on, looked like a nice little footballer, linked to play well.
Same.
He won't start, just sub. So now, hopefully both of those players play their way into our team and are in the team then, because they look like they've got something the other two don't have. Then it's up to the other two to force their way in. And if you do that, that's how your team gets better. It doesn't help anybody if you go, that's the manager's best 11 and the others are just subs. And it never varies. Teams who have that generally don't do well. It's teams who I've got to play you. I've got to perform because that fella sitting on that bench over there can take my place. it always squeezes that extra couple of percent.
Of course, it's cliched that you want to come out of a window stronger than you went in.
Yeah.
Which you can claim if you've got more bodies who are not kids, then that's the case. So, notwithstanding an Arno went, there's perhaps an argument to say, if the window closed tomorrow, we were stronger than when the window started.
Do you think we are? I'm not convinced.
I think there's an argument to be there, yeah. But just bear with me, right? But if that happened, you'd say, well, but you've got Mason Holgate still. You've got Michael Keane still. Both players who should go somewhere else. One for at his age, which is Keano needs to play, and he should be of value for plenty of clubs. Right? Mason needs to either decide whether he's retiring or he's going to have a last hurrah of the player he can be, and he just needs to moderate.
Take a big pay cut.
Yeah, all that. And then you would look at where the missing stuff is. Don't forget, if it ended tomorrow, then you still have DCL, but you could lose him in the next couple of weeks. Right? But surely there must be a point where you say it's not good enough to exit the window with your squad stronger. Your first 11's got to be stronger, because that's what wins football matches, particularly if you have a manager who's very loyal to his starting 11. Yeah. And so at the moment, we seem to have deepened the squad with potential, and yet you say, and I lit the game up, so to speak, and with a few turns and a bit of forthrightness and direction, the goals that way. Yeah,
ran towards the goal.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I thought, hang on a minute, he hasn't got the memo. Yeah, but if you're not going to play him, they're just bench warmers, and so then you would say, what a crap window that was, because the limited funds we have, which when you add it up is still quite a lot of money, it's just warming a bench, and you've blocked a pathway for Roman Dixon or whoever else it might be with a 40-year-old in the way. You know what I mean? So it is a curious one, because that's what the director, he has to balance the short and the medium term, doesn't he? And rightly so, I think. The manager, particularly in the last year of his contract, is only interested in the short term, which is this season and probably this period between this window and the next one. But we're told that the manager and the director of football have a good relationship, and ultimately, in broad brush terms, I'm sure it's not the same all the time, they both have to agree. So the manager must recognise that some of these players you are going to have to play, because this fan base is not going to be happy watching turgid football forever, is it? And I don't know where Sean thinks we are in development terms between the means justify the end of survival versus, do you start with a view, we are a mid-table team looking upwards, not a mid-table team looking downwards? And maybe, just maybe, some of those players who've got a bit of sparkle are the ones who will do what you just said, which through the first month or two of the season, they'll go from bench warmers to starters. And that's on them then, isn't it? As individuals.
I want an Everton team that I can't pick on the way to match. That's the ideal. The ideal is you go, well...
Oh, because there's 50-50 calls.
There's a future. Not because they're all injured. But to go, well, who gets in and he's fit today, isn't he? Wonder who he'll go with. You don't want to go, well, we know it's going to be him. We know Saturday Ashley Young's the right back. Michalenko's the left. There's no problem when it's like Michalenko, Tarkovsky, Brantway, because they played really well last season. No problem knowing the back four. It's the goalkeeper. There's not an issue. Ashley Young has to play on Saturday because there's nobody else. And you ain't going to... Even fantasists will accept he's not going to play Roman Dixon. So it's going to be Ashley Young. So your back four, barring any injuries in training, will be Young at right back, Michalenko left back, Tarkovsky. I know 3 of the back four. It should be Jake O'Brien, but it wouldn't. I wouldn't be shocked if it's Michael Keane. I really wouldn't. And then in midfield, you should have options. Now, you haven't because you got injuries. James Garner, of course, is one of them.
So it picks itself.
But you look and you go, Irabunum deserves to play. He's been Everton's best player in pre-season. Garner is Everton's best midfielder. Idrissa, so he has to play. He'll play Decore off Dom. We know that. And it'll be Harrison and McNeil. But ideally, moving forward, it'll be, will it be Harrison or will it be will it be Lindstrom or will it be Decore or will it be Ndiaye or will McNeil be in or will it be Ndiaye off the left or whoever? One thing Everton haven't really addressed, it's the thing we bang on about more than anything, which is a bit of pace. And we said it yesterday and I just found it found it a curious thing to put out as a social clip when Everton's players are struggling, looking around the gym going, who's fast? And they're like, you can see them trying to, like, someone in their eye line to go, is he quick? Brandwaite's struggling, he's going, who's quick? He's going, me. And then he's looking around like that. That you should be looking.
Dwight in the relay team, don't have me because you'll need someone who has to be quick to make up what I lose.
Says it. But Neil even says it, yet someone else puts him in. So that is the players out, out the mouths of babes. That was the players. Like they were looking, going, yeah, might be good footballers, but runners, not sure. In a league which really is, and especially the way we play, if you were slow, patient build up, you might be able to get away with it without having real runners. Do you know what I mean? Because in general, you're going to try and dominate the ball, you're going to pass it around, and it's about movement and speed of thought. You're not going to be knocking it long for people to run in after. It's a bit different. We don't play like that. We proved on Saturday, and we did it sometimes really quite effectively. The counter-attack, bang, nick it, off we go. And it was generally when in Dyke won, it was Iraboonham and Dom making runs to the side. They were the three really driving that, and Harrison trying to get up. We haven't addressed the one thing, and I keep saying it. We ain't addressed the ball in behind for someone to run onto. We haven't got that in our squad. I don't know how. And again, I said it to you last week. I think I might have said it to Ped yesterday, is that we've been obsessed with Nonto quite clearly, and we wanted Minter, and Minter would have been able, Dom and blah, blah. We don't need to go back over that, but Minter is quick. Nonto's quick.
We'll see him.
But we've stepped away from... It seems like we've now stepped away from that sort of necessity to a point where Kevin Thelwell's saying we might bring one more in. Now, I know he's saying that from a point of nobody else goes out. Therefore, we might be able to squeeze one more in, which would probably be a loan. We didn't say a loan, but that's, in my mind, that seems likely.
Sensible. But
obviously, the people go out the door, that gives you that extra bit of cash to go after it. But I do really struggle when I think the window could shut, and we haven't addressed the same issue that we've had for 3 or 4 years, and we just haven't gone and done it. And that's why I'm mentioning people like Jonathan Rowe, quite quick, Lars Ramazani, quite quick. They're not, particularly Ramazani, 6 million quid, 7 million quid, ain't going to kill you. Amir Richardson the other day, 7-8 million pound. He's a player you double next year. How are we letting these slip through our fingers?
We're making decisions. Because go back to what we started, and we did talk about Nonto, for example, multiple times in the weeks about drawing the line in the sand, right? And if that line in the sand has already been drawn, then he's not on our agenda at all, right? So we've moved on, if you like, and maybe, just maybe, that's where this chap comes along. But we also discussed over those weeks, perhaps me and you, and indeed me and Ped did, if you get to the end of the window, which you started quite well because you've got guys in there.
Yeah.
And you lack either a decisive outcome around DCL, because we'll have all this again in January.
Of course, and the months up to it, yeah.
If he doesn't go in this window, and then who's to say, well, drop off a little bit because he doesn't want to get in, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just don't know,
Where's the pace? Now, if we've consciously decided pace is not our criteria, not blinding. Right?
Yeah.
We perhaps I don't know. Perhaps we've focused on age and other things or whatever. Then the risk you run is you end up with a number of players who are muchness. Yeah. And if you do need to change it because that your muchness just isn't working, what happens then? I mean, you talk about slow, patient build-up and dominating the ball and so on and so forth. Well, the team who's won the league every goddamn year since time began, right? That's how they play. But they're blinding pace in the team as well.
Pace as well, yeah.
So Pep goes out and gets a Doku, and I go, really? But he's still there because there will be
and he'll unsettle it more.
Yeah, if he just wins one Champions League game for them because they can do something different because he's blinding, But he's a classic. You see him go into that team, spends a year or two there, and then he sells him for a load of money and does it again. But there's a lot of safety in a player who's got pace. You've either got it or you haven't, and if you haven't got it, you've got to do a lot of other things to try and cover the fact that you haven't got it. It depends on your position, of course.
Yeah.
But it's so clear in days gone by, we need pace. And, that could have been delivered through fullbacks, couldn't it? you know, and we've got a young fullback there who is quick. We didn't get a game at the weekend because we played people we already knew, and therefore Seamus isn't going to be fit as almost literally as a consequence.
Yeah.
Now, if Seamus had broken down half an hour into the game against Brighton, it would have been inconvenient, but Roman Dixon would have perhaps had an hour or more against Roma, and maybe the manager would think, you know what, I'll risk it rather than put Ashley in there. It's just a bit odd, and we're never going to find out what the objectives were until it's closed, and we try and backward engineer it and say, well, that's what they ended up with. We know they've got financial challenges. We get all that. So what were they really trying to do? And Chimiti getting injured probably didn't help, but that wasn't on the plan either. So
no, of course, and who knows if that affected better.
It might very well. Yeah.
Before we move on, what's the scarf, Joe?
Yeah. It's a scarf.
Yeah.
It's an Everton scarf. Heritage Society scarf.
Okay.
To commemorate this football ground. You've heard of that one?
Nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nice Archibald Leach.
Finishes in 25. As we all know, started in 1892.
Yeah.
And it's got the old Archibald stuff on it.
Nice. So are they available?
Yeah, you can go on their website.
Heritage.
Yeah, Heritage Society. Go on the website. Don't know how much they are. Did you find out how much they were, Ped? Nope.
15 quid.
15 quid. Right. So tell them Toffee TV sent you. Maybe you got a discount. I don't know.
Doubt
it, yeah. But it's nice, though. It's nice.
Now a commemorative scarf for the season, if you want one. Everton's Heritage Society.
We're keeping this, aren't we?
I'll do it.
We'll put it on the
we'll
back of it.
Up somewhere. Also,
thanks
as well,
Richie for that, because Richie provided it to us free on Gratis and all that, which was really cool.
Richie also told us on Saturday that is it the church as well, Ped? They are a book donation point for obviously what we saw with the disgraceful scenes where they burnt down the library.
Oh yeah.
Close to Goodison Park. The Heritage Society are a donation point for books. So if you're from around the area, or you come to the game at the weekend and you've got books that you wouldn't mind donating, maybe you don't use them anymore, or you've read them, whatever, you don't know what to do with them, you can drop them in at the church where the Heritage Society are. They are a donation point, and try and get books for people in the local area who's obviously have lost that resource at the moment due to the awful scenes we witnessed last week or whenever it was now. So they are a donation point. So like I say, any spare books and that you can donate will be very gratefully received into the church.
And the food banks, no less important.
And food banks as well, of course, that is going on as well. Brian Darlin says, Baz Ped, nice to meet you at the Roma game, over from Wicklow Island with the family, did the match, stadium tour, saw the new stadium from the Mersey, and topped off by bumping into you. Boss weekend. Cheers, Brian. Thanks for the picture. Hope your children enjoyed the game as well. Yeah, well, we have to wait and see, don't we? The stories are around Everton will no doubt be trying to squeeze deals if they can. They do have, like we said, there's question marks over Michael Keane, Mason Holgate. Like the Corey even's got 10 months left on the deal. You've also got Neil Mopai, who doesn't appear to have a future at Everton. And I imagine
the weekend.
I imagine it wouldn't surprise me if Brentford come back in for him 3.5 million quid or something on deadline day, or close.
Sort of thing,
because they've lost Thiago, who they brought him in for 30 million, scored a couple on his debut and then got injured. He's out for 3 months. Tony is still there. Whether anyone goes in for Ivan Tony, I don't know, but he's got 10 months left as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if Brentford come back in and, who knows, maybe the option to buy Mopai was 8 million or something, and they just thought at the time paying that. And now they could come back in with 3 or 4 million. I think Everton would bite their hand off to take some money for him. So I think he will go, because he scored goals in the Premier League last season. Maybe Leeds should take him as part of a Nonto deal or something, and get him banging him in the Championship. He
was prolific in the Championship back in the day, wasn't he?
Well, I watched Luton against Burnley last night, and I think Luton could do with him off Adebayo, actually. They got spanked last night 4-1 at home by Burnley. Could have been more. Kaminsky made about 4 brilliant saves, and he hit the post. Burnley destroyed them, to be fair. But I imagine Mopai will go. Holgate, like we've just said, may well need to take a haircut, shall we say, on his wages, because they're clearly too high for anyone. He's too much of a question mark, whereas there's still a good defender in there, but he just needs to remember how to defend and stop being, putting rash tackles in and stuff. Maybe lower his demands and get himself a club and get himself back going again. Michael Keane, for me, if I'm him, I'm saying to my agent.
Was he 32?
It's near 31 at the
31.
moment, but I'm saying to my agent, get me a move. I'll take a cut in my wages. I've been well paid by Everton for a number of years. I want to play. He could do a job, definitely for someone. Even in the Premier League, you just think, at Everton, he's hardly played last season, Brantwaite, to come in. Everton have signed Jake O'Brien. And as much as the manager might want the safety blanket of Michael Keane, from a club perspective, he's another one we paid £24 million for. We can't let him walk out the door for nothing. But like I say, he could do a job for someone.
Maybe the director of football needs to remove the safety blanket.
I'm sure...
You can't play Michael if he's not here.
I'm sure if anybody come in for him, 10 months left on a contract, Everton would say yeah.
You have to.
Got to, haven't you? You've got to start looking at the club overall and going, got to clean up the ills of the past. Everton are very close to signing Taman Williams, I think it might be, from Burton Albion, 18-year-old centre-back. He played some games on trial in the summer. So again, trying to get younger players into that. Jake O'Brien's obviously young. Reece Welsh is at the club still. Yeah. Eli Campbell, another young centre-back, albeit played left-back in Everton's first team. So Everton are trying to, Tyler has gone and played centre-back in a few games and right-back, but he's gone off to Stockport on loan. Everton are trying to get people into that, the younger group. This kid's highly rated, apparently. So
cool.
That's what you have to try and do, don't you?
You do.
To bring these lads through. But we've got to get, in my opinion, these players out who have got less than a year left. And one of them might be Decore, and that might be a huge, huge risk. Someone who's put the ball in the net for us has been good for Sean Dyche. But if Everton were to get some kind of offer from Saudi, 15, 20 million for a 31-year-old, you'd probably have to take it, wouldn't you? He's well paid, as well, he's on good wages.
I think you would, yeah.
It's a risk though, isn't it? Because he scores goals. Yeah,
well, these guys are paid to take risks. Calculated ones, but risks all the same.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? What did you make him and die then at the weekend? I said he lit the place up.
Very lively. Yeah, fans liked him straight away.
We got, like you said, he got the ball and just ran towards
and if he got his goal, that's it. Legend status, day one. You get a lot of emotional credit.
Friendly legend.
No, but you get a lot of emotional credit if you score a goal in front of the Gladys Street, don't you?
Especially doing a 360 turn like he did. It's it, that they're gone.
The referee thought it was a goal kick.
So. A lovely, and then because someone said it was a corner, he went, "Oh yeah, a corner." I won't comment on the referee. I thought he was dreadful even for a friendly. He was terrible. I thought he looked very lively.
He did
travel well with the ball and gives you something different, doesn't he? Something that we don't seem to have. Well, not we don't seem to have. We simply don't have in that team. Is players who run towards the goal. Instead
that was
of
the most shocking thing. The shocking story about how the guy goes.
The shocking truth.
Shocking truth as he goes towards the opposition's goal.
Yeah. Liam, on next week, on the overlap next week, it was top 6 and 3 promoted teams for that one. So next week, I imagine, is the lads who are hanging on from being relegated section. Rich says, howdy all from Mallorca with the family. Looking forward to the season, love the content. As always, trying to persuade the family to call in tomorrow. Cheers, Rich. Enjoy your holiday. Ryan says, hi lads, it's my birthday today. Happy birthday, Ryan. The missus paid for an Everton tattoo today. The 82-83 badge, the tower and the laurels. Any of you have an Everton related tattoo? Ped has a couple, I think. He's definitely, he has got one on his arm, on his leg. Side note, I'm 26 and no Everton trophy to witness as of yet.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, one in my lifetime.
There was a tattoo on Twitter last week, which was really cool. you had the band round your ear, and it was just this.
Oh, okay.
It's just Archie's work around there, and it looked really cool.
Rangers fan, was it?
No,
Or Sunderland fan?
Everton fan.
Oh, Everton. Oh, because he obviously designed Roker Park and
and others,
and Rangers as well, of course.
So that guy, and he had his picture. Just put it on. It looked really cool.
Nice.
So if you're short of what to have, Ped, but you're going to save yourself for Google, aren't you?
What's that?
Your 100k one. You're going to have that.
Them and that, yeah. Mark Mack says, for this weekend, my expectation would be Dixon and Armstrong on the bench. Reality, it'll be Holgate and Mopay, which would be outrageous if those players have no future. On the Barcelona, we have no money, so next. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. The only sort of way I could see, well, like John said, either they know something we don't, someone's going out, or it's a Beto deal. We'll sign you now for 20, whatever amount of money you want to pay, and we'll give you it next year. And Barca are cool with that.
Well, if Barcelona's issue is a registration slot rather than the actual money, and that works, doesn't it? That's got the player decides written all over it. Yeah. So.
But the deal would have to be agreed, and it hasn't. Yeah. So there you go. Harry says, do we assume someone is leaving in the not too distant future then if we're trying for this kid? That's what we just said. Yep. Bill says, hello, if remotely true, it must mean someone's leaving. As I pointed out that last night, the fullback area worries me. Young again will be targeted by Matoma and Minter. Of course he will. Which is why Jack Harrison will be on that side as well to help out. Again, Everton could go and get Tatsuma, who they've been linked with all summer. I think Verona won £8 million for him. 22, quick. Can play higher up as well. That's a bit too easy.
Stop talking about quick players.
I know. It's clearly not what's on the list, is it? Derek says if that's the case, Beto must be on his way. Personally, I'd like to see more defensive links as both fullbacks need cover. Jonathan says we're skint, we can't afford them, so think it's agent talk. Reckon we'll get one more in on loan, which will leave us short. May well do. I think we all know to get anyone else in permanently, it seems we'll have to sell. And we know that. That's not. There's no shock there, is there? The expectation very much was Dominic Calvert-Lewin would leave, and then Everton would begin the next sort of purchases of players. At the moment, Calvert-Lewin's still here, so
thought he would have left by now.
No one should be sure. I don't know though, because I just think if I'm Newcastle and listen, maybe they don't want him now, but all the stories are still from the northeast that they do. I ain't coming until the 29th of August for him. When you want to make him go full Mikel Arteta, be standing over a fax machine saying, let me go. That's what I'm doing.
That might be how you moderate his wage demands. Yeah.
But you sort of...
But if saying, that's 3, 4, 5, 6 days after Everton have said, if you're still here, mate, you're staying. Yeah.
I still question whether Everton are that mentally strong.
We clearly haven't done that because we'd have said something.
Yeah. So, Blue Keely says, for the reported fee, I feel like we could get 2 or 3 players we really need. Feel like it only makes sense if they know Dom is going in this window, or better, or like we keep saying, if it's a fee can be a headline fee, and you go, oh my God, but the reality with some of the like the Beto deal, the reality was we didn't pay anything. And we've had to pay some this summer. Well, you'd accept that. That's just life. It's the way it is, and that's where some of the cash will have gone this summer to pay for that one and some for Timothy. If that's the way it is, you deal with that next year. That's a good deal. If Barcelona go, he's 27 million euros. You don't have to give us anything until next summer. And Everton go, oh, it's okay because we're selling Jarrod Branthwaite by the 30th of June next year. We'll have a slug of money and we can just offset that. We've got a player here for 5. We'll have a big slug left from Jarrod. We can do this, and that's fine. That's actually good, really good balancing of books, isn't it?
Bit of planning.
PSR and a bit of planning.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case. We're just saying that. I can't see it being anything cash related unless Barca are like, you can give us £1 million in cash and Everton have got it. Again, it'll only be a deal that works for Everton if it's any way it can work. If that isn't the case, this deal's nonsense, isn't it? Steve P says, Baz, I'm surprised no one has gone after Oderbird. Watched him last night. Took his goal well, didn't he? And he is quick. He's looked good. He's rapid, can play on both wings, only 19. Don't know why we didn't go for him. The thing that baffles me is if we've got no money, then how are we going to sign Nonto, even if they accepted our offer? It's as though he's the only winger on earth. Shouldn't we have had the list of other targets? We knew we couldn't get him. Feels like a repeat of last summer with the whole thing. Does, in some universe, if Nonto's the player they really think will make a difference, is it sensible to just stick with that then? If they believe he's that, I personally don't believe he's that much. Don't get me wrong, we signed him. I think it'll be a good signing because he's got things we don't have, and he's still only 20 or 21. He's got a lot of potential, so he is a good signing. What I mean is, he's not like Lukaku difference at the moment, where we got Rom and we knew all of a sudden we had someone who put the ball in the net, consistently. He's not that player. He definitely improves Everton. He definitely gives Everton something they don't have, and like I said, he's got potential to be really good, quick and all that. Is there an argument to say, well, they know exactly who they want, so to stick him with it, so why shouldn't he?
I don't think there's, let's go back to your universe, I don't think there's any of the multiverses where we're putting all our eggs in one basket.
Yeah,
so,
okay, yeah.
At one end of the spectrum, it's complete and utter balderdash because we don't have the money.
Yeah.
Another version is it's complete and utter balderdash because we haven't put all our eggs in one basket.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on and so forth. But I think we disrespect professionals at the club if we think, oh, we're just thinking about this one fella. That can't be.
Okay, so what just
because we haven't heard about it doesn't
devil's advocate to that would be, though, we haven't made a bid for anyone else, though.
We haven't had a bid reported for anyone else.
No, but on this is, come on.
No.
Big Fab Romano gets, someone opens a door and he leaks it, doesn't he?
I get that, but you can't prove a negative, right? So just because it hasn't been leaked doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
Okay.
You might say the probability is it's not happened. And maybe, I don't know, I'm just making it up, right? But maybe we will make a bid as and when our date arrives, when we said, right, we're done with that one.
Yeah.
Even if they change their mind next week, it's too late.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
Yeah.
But that's all part of pre-positioning around how you're doing negotiations. So it's curious that the media view, however it's coming out, still seems to think that that's an ongoing pursuit. I'm stunned that it's an ongoing pursuit so close to the end of the window, because there's only 2 weeks to go, isn't it? Or was it 20? How many days? 18
17 days.
17, 18 days. So maybe early next week you're saying we have to, we have to decide A or B here. Has
he done that thing? Have Everton sort of gone, yeah, we'll move on from Nonto, and then they're just preparing something on Saturday or Sunday. Saturday, they look up and he cuts in and bends one in and they go, no, I still want him. Right, Leeds, how much? He's reminded them that he scored.
It's why you have to be disciplined. Once you've made your decision, and the same applies to DCL, doesn't it? Right? The textbook thing for Kevin to say is he either signs a new contract, which
Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, and we really want him to, because he brings stuff to our team is not easy to get from elsewhere. Forget goals for a minute, right? Or we sell him because we can't let him go for free. Now that we sell him because we can't let him go for free, there's two opportunities. There's this window and there's January, right? The idea that DCL will refuse to sign a new contract and still be here on February the 1st seems quite low. But Kevin will have failed big style if that happens, because we're letting a multiple millions of pounds go, aren't we? Right? So you have to be objective about it. You can't force DCL to leave. So even if you draw a line in the sand and then somebody comes, as you suspect, Newcastle on the last day, then your decision becomes, can we let this guy go for whatever they're offering? Yeah? And not be able to replace him. And clearly you'll have some contingencies, but when you talk about the players that we might bring in instead, do we think those players are still going to be there? You know what I mean? So you have to run your scenarios when you're nice and calm and not panicking. And it may conclude that you end up saying no to Newcastle at 23.59 because we'd rather have Dominic run his contract down than not have a centre forward at all. And the same with Nonto, the other way round. You may draw the line in the sand and then progress on to other targets, whatever they are. But if Nonto then suddenly becomes available and you haven't closed the others, not because you're sitting on your hands, just because it hasn't happened yet, then you're still got to be able to adapt and go, ooh, our boy is available after all. We don't know what's going to happen to Leeds, do we? Will they decide in the last 48 hours, quick, fire sale, 5 mil off or whatever,
But they're trying to bring in Jonathan Rowe.
And that's the point of it. If there's dominoes in play, then pressures come to bear across the whole supply chain then, don't they? And that's the hard part.
Buck says, I think we should sell Leeds. Thank you, but no thank you. And move on from none-so. Blue Keeley says, I just wish Thelwell did some of his scouting by watching this channel. So do I. Peter Finn says, any truth in Scott McTominay to Everton? Not heard that one.
No, not heard that one.
Bill thinks surely someone will bow Mopai. I think so.
Yeah.
Bill also says, agree the areas we're still short in full-back midfield and that pace that Baz mentions, and that's if Dom stays. If he goes, obviously you've got to sort of replace that as well, haven't you? As a centre forward, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you're going into something else then, aren't you, as well? Steve says, I don't see any world where Vitor Roque plays under Sean Dyche, not going to lie. Is he really going to play like someone up front, like him up front? I highly doubt it. He's the polar opposite of a striker he wants, although it would be a brilliant signing. People forget he's only 19, he's got loads of talent. Yeah. No thanks, Bri. Bill says, great.
That's a secret.
No, says, I recommend listening to Joe on the Royal Podcast before you do your predictions. Well, no, because then by listening to Joe, and I presume you mean Joe Thomas, friend of the show, then why would we do that and then predict after it?
What we're predicting the season?
I don't know.
Okay.
Bill says, Gray is the last explosive winger we had. He is. I missed Amari Gray. I missed the fact that he could just... I don't miss the fact sometimes he was totally...
Is he still in the Middle East?
Yeah. I don't miss the fact he was innocuous in so many games, but I do miss the fact sometimes he just cut in, whack one in from nowhere, and he was quick.
At the Etihad,
he was quick.
For example.
The guitar player says, good morning from Oakland. Good morning.
California.
Good morning.
It is.
Chris says, hope Everton do get nonso just to piss off Leeds fans.
Not a good enough reason.
Dave Murray says, could easily go and get Amir Richardson, Ramazani, Josh Doig for this nonso rocking money, lazy recruitment. Ringo says, can we hang on to Branthwaite? I'm very suspicious by his absence during pre-season.
He's injured.
He's injured, isn't he? Because even if Everton were going to sell him, they'd have still played him, wouldn't he?
I think there's a chance he'll still be injured when the window closes. Touch and go, probably.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Shrikar says, are you confident this season won't be about survival?
Yeah, I am.
I think Everton will be mid-table.
Yeah.
48 points last season with 2 points deductions hanging over them and being taken off them. They still won 48 points. Didn't win a game for 4 months. Lost the first 4 home games. The centre forward never scored a goal for 5 months. And they still finished 1 point behind Crystal Palace in points won. So, off the top 10. So, yeah, I think Everton will be anywhere between 10th and 14th again. That's what me looking at it now, they could go the other way. Could get relegated. You don't know, do you? But me just looking at it now, I think they'll be in that bracket. It seems.
Yeah.
Could be 14th. Could be as high as 10th. Who knows? But if you know,
if you're a numbers person, the Optus supercomputer's done its final spin. Says 13th.
Yeah, a lot of I've seen a few just going, yeah, they'll be in that bracket because that's what they are. They're a decent mid-table team. That's all they are. They're nothing. It'll be based on defence. They'll be counter-attacking football and trying to nick games 1-0, and because that's what we are, aren't we? So, yeah, we'll see.
Hence the need for more goals.
Duckdo says we are stealing Crystal Palace 12th spot this season. They blew it, didn't he, and got 10th. But normally, yes, they're always... Well, he were 1 point, weren't he, from being in the normal position, no matter what happens. But it's mad. It's mad. Right, we're done. We're going to be on More Than a Game daily in about 7 minutes. So the link, the Superhighway link, will drag you there. So come there and let's chat about everything else as well that is going on in the world of football. And if Everton, anything breaks regarding Everton while we're live there, of course, we'll talk about that as well. Right, see you in a minute.